you're gonna obey me, or you're gonna go on the ground.
Why do I need to obey you?
Because I'm giving you a lawful order.
For what?
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Did I do anything?
Yes. Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
What did I do?
Do you want to get tased?
Excuse me?
Turn around and put.
The moment opens without warning. The air is ordinary, almost forgettable, and that is what makes what follows so unsettling. Nothing in the posture of the man suggests danger. His movements are small. His attention is divided between the space around him and the person speaking to him. There is no urgency in his body. The urgency arrives from the outside. Authority enters the frame already impatient. The distance between command and compliance collapses. There is no runway, no space where explanation might live. The voice is not raised, but it is final. It carries the weight of a decision that has already been made. From this point forward, the situation is not unfolding. It is being pushed. The man's shoulders tighten, not in defiance, but in confusion. Confusion is visible before resistance ever is. Confusion slows reactions. It interrupts rhythm. It makes even simple requests feel abrupt. His hands hover, unsure where they are supposed to go. The pause is brief, but it is enough. The officer steps closer. Proximity changes everything. Once space is taken, it is rarely given back. The interaction compresses. The background fades. What remains is the narrow channel between two bodies where control is decided. Words stack quickly now. Each one reduces options. The language is not explanatory, it is directive. The man's head turns slightly, as if searching for context that never arrives. His feet do not move. His hands still haven't found their place. The gap between instruction and understanding widens, and into that gap, force is invited. Hands make contact. This is the hinge point. Not because of pain, but because of meaning. Touch without consent, without clarity, redefines the relationship instantly. From here on, every movement can be reinterpreted. Balance becomes instability. Surprise becomes struggle. The man's body reacts before his thoughts can catch up. A shoulder shifts. A foot slides half an inch. These are not choices. They are reflexes. Reflexes do not announce themselves. They are quiet and fast, and they are often punished. The voice grows sharper, not louder. It no longer seeks compliance. It declares non-compliance. Labels appear. Once spoken, they stick. The scene acquires momentum, and momentum has a direction. The man's breathing changes. It becomes audible, not heavy but faster. His chest rises and falls in short bursts. He tries to speak, but speech competes with movement now, and movement is being interpreted. A threat enters the frame without being named. It does not need to be. Its presence is understood by both people immediately. The power dynamic hardens. One person has tools, the other has a body. From this point on, time behaves differently. Seconds stretch, but decisions accelerate. The man's face shows calculation, not fear. He is trying to map a situation that no longer follows logic. Each attempt to regain footing only narrows the corridor further. There is a moment where de-escalation could have lived. It passes unnoticed. The chance evaporates quietly, without announcement. What replaces it is procedure, but procedure stripped of patience. The ground approaches. Not dramatically, inevitably. Gravity becomes an accomplice. Once the body tilts, recovery is unlikely. The balance is gone, and with it, the last illusion of control. When the man hits the ground, the sound is dull. The camera shakes slightly. The world tilts with him. From this angle, faces distort. Commands rain down, overlapping, indistinguishable. They are no longer instructions. They are confirmations. Restraint follows quickly. Hands are pulled where they are told to go, but now it no longer matters. Compliance arrives too late to change the story. The narrative has already been written. The man's voice is thinner now, not weaker, just constrained by position. He speaks upward, toward authority that no longer needs to listen. The words are not important anymore. The outcome has hardened. By the time the scene steadies, the decision is complete. The path forward contains no forks. What began as an encounter has become an extraction. The environment recedes. Spectators are irrelevant. Only process remains. This is how control shifts. Not in a single explosive act, but through a series of small compressions that leave no room to breathe. The moment authority chose speed over clarity, the ending became unavoidable. After the ground absorbs the weight of the moment, everything becomes mechanical. Movements are practiced. Positions are assumed without discussion. The language narrows to short commands, each one delivered as if the previous one had been ignored, even when it was not. The man's body is now an object to be managed. Limbs are repositioned. Angles are adjusted. The camera captures fragments. Pavement, uniforms, a hand tightening, a knee finding leverage. There is no single image that explains what is happening, only accumulation. Pain is not dramatic here. It is procedural. It arrives in controlled bursts, administered to produce compliance that has already been declared absent. Each application justifies the next. The logic feeds itself. The man attempts to orient himself. His head turns, searching for faces, for recognition, for some signal that this is still a conversation. He finds none. Authority no longer faces him directly. It stands above, angled away, already preparing for what comes after. The threat becomes action, brief, decisive. The body responds as bodies do, involuntarily. Muscles seize. The sound that escapes is not language, it is biology. The camera does not flinch. When the sensation passes, the aftermath lingers. Breathing is uneven. The man's hands finally find the position that was demanded earlier, but now they are guided there. Compliance has been achieved through exhaustion, not understanding. Restraints click into place. The sound is small, metallic, final. With that sound, the man's ability to influence events effectively ends. From here forward, everything that happens to him will be explained later, by others, in calmer rooms. The tone around him shifts subtly. There is less urgency now. The danger has been neutralized, not because it existed, but because it has been declared resolved. The officer's posture relaxes. Shoulders drop, the voice steadies. The man remains on the ground longer than necessary. Time stretches again, but this time it is heavy. Each second reinforces the new hierarchy. He is spoken about, not to. Decisions are made over him, not with him. When he is lifted, it is not to restore dignity, it is to relocate. The transition from ground to vehicle is handled with efficiency. Doors open. The interior of the car is dark, narrow, unforgiving. Once inside, space disappears entirely. Seated, restrained, the man finally has room to think. His chest rises more slowly now. The adrenaline fades, leaving clarity in its wake. He tests the restraints lightly, not to escape, but to confirm reality. They hold. Outside the car, the scene continues without him. Conversations occur, gestures are exchanged. The camera catches fragments of these moments, but their content is secondary. What matters is that the narrative is being constructed in real time. The man watches through glass. The world is slightly distorted from this angle. Sound is muffled. He is present, but removed. This separation is intentional. It makes later explanations easier. As minutes pass, the initial reason for the encounter becomes irrelevant. What remains is justification. The focus shifts to aligning actions with outcomes. Language adapts. Terms are selected carefully. The story tightens. Inside the car, the man's posture slumps, not in defeat but in acceptance. The struggle phase is over. Now comes endurance. He stares forward, eyes unfocused, absorbing the weight of what has just happened. This is the quiet part of escalation, the part that rarely makes headlines. The force has already been applied. What follows is normalization. The extraordinary is folded back into routine. When the door finally opens again, the tone is almost casual. Instructions are given without edge. The man is told where to go, how to move. He follows. At this stage, resistance would serve no purpose. As he is guided away, the camera lingers on the empty space where he stood earlier. The ground looks the same. The air has settled. To an outside observer, it might appear that nothing significant occurred here. But the damage has already been done. Not just to the man's body, but to the sequence of events that will follow him. Records will be created. Accounts will be written. Consequences will unfold slowly, long after this moment fades from view. This is how escalation completes its arc. Loud at first, then quiet. Immediate in action, delayed in impact. The scene closes not with resolution, but with the certainty that resolution has been postponed. What comes next does not happen on camera, but the camera has already done its work. It is captured enough to set future events in motion. The footage will be replayed, slowed down, paused at critical frames. Each frame will carry weight far beyond the moment it depicts. The man is processed through systems designed to be efficient. Names are recorded. Times are logged. The earlier confusion is replaced by formality. He answers questions now, not because he believes they will help, but because the path forward demands it. Charges are named. They sound abstract, disconnected from the physical reality he just experienced. Words standing in for actions. Categories standing in for chaos. The translation is imperfect, but it is accepted as sufficient. In holding spaces, time behaves differently. Minutes feel longer. The body begins to register soreness. Small movements send signals up the spine. The man tests his jaw, his wrists, his shoulders. Each responds with quiet protest. Later, much later, the footage will be reviewed by people who were not there. They will watch from comfortable chairs. With the ability to pause, rewind, and annotate. They will have the luxury of distance. Some will focus on the moment hands made contact. Others will focus on the ground, on the application of force, on the restraint. Each will identify a different turning point. But the truth is simpler. The outcome became unavoidable the moment clarity was abandoned. As days pass, the immediate shock dulls, replaced by something heavier. The man replays the encounter in his mind, not to relive it, but to understand it. He searches for the point where he could have done something differently. He finds none that would have guaranteed safety. The consequences ripple outward. Work is interrupted. Relationships absorb strain. Explanations are required. The story must be told again and again, each time stripped of nuance to fit the listener's attention span. Eventually, the narrative leaves the personal realm and enters the public one. Documents are filed, statements are issued. The language becomes careful, sanitized. The physicality of the encounter is translated into paragraphs. The footage becomes evidence. Evidence is not emotional. It is dissected, measured, compared against standards. The man's body language is scrutinized frame by frame. Movements that were reflexive are labeled. Pauses are interpreted. Time stretches further now. Months pass. Decisions are delayed. The immediacy of the ground, the weight of the moment, fades from collective memory. What remains is procedure. When resolution finally arrives, it does not feel like vindication. It feels administrative. Numbers replace sensations. Outcomes are summarized. The intensity of the encounter is flattened into conclusions. For the man, there is no returning to before. The experience recalibrates his understanding of space, of authority, of vulnerability. Everyday interactions acquire new edges. He moves through the world more cautiously, not out of fear, but awareness. The footage continues to exist, independent of him. It will be watched by strangers who project their own beliefs onto it. Some will see inevitability, others will see alternatives. The debate will persist long after he has moved on, but the camera captured one undeniable truth. Escalation does not announce itself as escalation. It arrives dressed as routine. It hides in impatience. It thrives in compressed timelines. The irreversible moment was brief, barely half a minute. But within that window, a series of choices eliminated every off-ramp. Once force replaced dialogue, the ending locked into place. This is not a story about a single action or a single person. It is a study in momentum, in how authority, once exercised without restraint, accelerates toward outcomes that cannot be undone. The scene ends where it began, in ordinary space, a parking lot, open air, no visible scars. But beneath the surface, trajectories have shifted. Lives have been rerouted. The camera stops recording. The system continues.